Hello, for my final project, I will be interviewing an Italian American to learn more about the Italian American experience, specifically in relation to immigration and ethnic identity. So I'd like to welcome Michael.
Hello.
Hi, Michael. Could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Michael Leone. I'm a first year at UCLA. I'm studying bioengineering, and I'm a third generation Italian American.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for participating in this interview. So, in this class, we learned from an article titled Gli Italiani nel Mundo that during the Italian diaspora, 28 million Italians left Italy. So, they migrated primarily to North and South America, as well as other European countries. So, within that context, could you tell us a little bit about your family's immigration history?
Yeah, so my father, both of my parents are Italian, but my father's side is from northern Italy, while my mother's side is from Sicily. My father's side, they ended up immigrating into New York through Ellis Island, and then ended up in Utica, and then they ended up opening a pizza shop for work, which they tended to struggle with.
That is such an interesting immigration story. In another reading titled Emigration, Immigration, and Citizenship, the author explains that the experience of Italian migrants often involves hardship, exploitation, and discrimination. Does any of this apply to your family's experience?
Yeah, so I actually kind of started alluding to it in my other response. Like I said, with the pizza shop, they suffered kind of a lot. It was just hard to keep it running because the nature of New York is very competitive and it just wasn't easy for them. So, majority of them ended up moving to Florida, and then the rest moved to San Francisco, which is where most of my grandparents are all from.
Wow, I can only imagine how difficult that must have been. So, in this course, we also learned about the ethnic identity of Italian Americans. So, how would you define your ethnic identity?
I am 50% Italian and then another just under 50% Irish.
Got it. So, we also read a study by Alessandria et al., and the study focused on young adult Italian Americans. And the study found that monoethnic Italian Americans demonstrated stronger identities than mixed ethnic individuals. So, as a mixed ethnic Italian American, do you feel like this finding is true in your case?
Uh, Definitely. I think my family feels very Americanized. Part of it is probably because I'm a third generation Italian American. So a lot of the traditions that we've had passed down and some of the more stereotypical traditions just aren't as prevalent in my family. And so I think that definitely kind of takes away from what would string me back to my Italian roots.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that because I also feel very Americanized. I'm actually a sixth generation Japanese American. So during my research for this interview, I found a study that was conducted by Deanna Gumina, and her study really focuses on ethnic identity and family values of adolescent Italian Americans. And she emphasized that ethnic identity develops in the context of the family. So, with that being said, how do you believe that your family influenced your ethnic identity?
Yeah, so I mean, just starting with my parents is they've always pushed, or they haven't pushed it, but they've always just kind of made my Italian identity more prevalent than my Irish identity, which is why I think I claim that side of my family more. Also, though, my great grandma is, I believe, first generation Italian American, or she also immigrated over when she was very young, and so a lot of the things that she does helps me feel connected to my Italian heritage.
Okay, so would you say your parents or your grandparents make you feel most connected to your heritage, or are there like other factors?
Yeah, so it kind of more my great grandma than my immediate parents. Especially because during holidays she's always making cannolis or pizzelles for dessert, which are really good. And then her daughter, my grandma, she has a homemade lasagna recipe that's been passed through the family, and so just kind of those recipes are one of the main things that help me feel really connected.
Great. So to conclude this interview, I would like to ask you one final question. What does being an Italian American mean to you?
To me, being an Italian American is just being able to support um, the any Italian uh, team or person that I see, because my family's been so Americanized. It's hard for me to really string on to my Italian heritage, but I always look for ways to support Italians, whether it's a small Italian restaurants and businesses, or also just like the sports teams that I follow, world sports. I will support both America and Italy. Also, cars. I tend to purchase Italian cars, and then as well as my favorite sport, which is Formula One. I support Ferrari, which is an Italian brand.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for answering all of my questions.
Yeah, thank you for having me.